Half again, and hello, it's Fo, and welcome to Planet Zoo. I want to call our zoo Scary Bears Totally Not Scary Zoo, but it's got a limited character input, so I got to go with Scary Zoo. She's got a small loan of $1 million to start her own zoo. So she's got a long-term goal of making a couple of million to pay him back. When I set up a zoo, I was doing the same thing, was starting the same way, making a pretty big enclosure to have all the animals that are friendly with each other. Let's go with the 8 meter. And then we can go with the smaller staff baths of 4 meters. Enough room where everyone's going to be coming in the same way. So once we've got our staff path down, we want to get our essential buildings in. The game will help us with prompts of what to pop in. We basically need buildings for our keepers to go. They'll take care of our animal exhibits. Places for our vets to go with animals. We have to quarantine them, and if they get sick we have to look after them. Yeah, we're trying to be as precious as we can with the space. Get all the buildings lined up. You can make it look pretty, but we don't really need it to look pretty. Not yet. Functionality is the way. So I want to create one big space for our animals to live in. But don't worry, we're going to choose animals that enjoy each other's company. We can be quite messy, as long as we get everything connected up. Then we can tidy things up directly, or we can highlight a whole bunch, move them all together. So we want to create as much space as we can for our animals. We'll choose glass to begin with. And then we can hire staff. And when we do, we can hire extra staff to do some research and hopefully get us some two-way glass. That way our patrons can come and enjoy the animals without stressing them out. We do want giraffes to join at some point, so we do need to be thinking about height as well. Yeah, we've got our first enclosure established. We can create windows like the red brick aesthetic. Yeah, we want to make sure that there's water available and it's cleaned. So we do have to make some facilities, like a water pump that's going to help clean our water. You can see the negative impact that our staff buildings and our utilities and things are going to have on the guests. We can pop some trees around it, sort of deaden the noise and spruce the place up a little bit. We've got to get our essential things down. ATMs. Get everybody in, get some money out. Want to get them as educated as possible, and they can make donations for these bins to help keep our animals happy. Yeah, we're going to pop down all these education boards. There's loads of different things you can pop out on them to help educate our people. And then they'll donate more money. And the zoo inspector will be happier with us. That all works to more people coming. And we can afford greater things. We're working with cash, but we're also working with these sort of green leaf credits. That's where you get all the good animals. Get that from well-educated, eco-friendly visitors. And by releasing some animals to the wild. Yeah, some animals we can get for cash. Some animals are the premium credits. So we can't get everything all at once. We wouldn't want to. So these green buckets for recycling. We do have to give them food and drink as well. Opportunities to buy balloons and silly hats and things. Make some money back that way. Yeah, everywhere we want them to focus their attention. We can highlight our animal. We can have an educator come along and do a little speech once a year and get people's attention. Should get the education rating up and the donations with it. So I've got a couple of vending machines out for food and drink. We have to wait until we get an animal and pop it in the enclosure before we can get all the education boards and everything set up. So again, we want to set up where people's focus it can be. Once we've researched it, we can change it to two-way glass. If the animals are still stressed out by the people, you can get little speakers to put inside. So we're going to create a work zone for all the buildings that are essential for maintaining the first enclosure and the animals. Basically everything but the research buildings. Other things that, say, maintenance people would need to go between, we'll just leave that wild. Can set up bigger work zones, like a general work zone 1. You're best focusing on the enclosures and the animals themselves. But we'll get an extra vet and we'll get an extra mechanic so they can do research. We can work towards bigger and better things in the long term. We'll set up our research just now. Again, we want the two-way glass really. So we'll get them researching barriers. Want to get our first couple of animals. So we can find some pair of ostriches. couple of warthogs. Should be the easy starter ones. We'll get them put all into our quarantine. And we'll get things moving. You can see you can pop them into different buildings. Can be a bit finicky. So we're going to set up a place for them to drink, making sure it's within the range of our water purifier. I'll set up a little bit of shelter for them. And once they come in, we can see what their needs are, check out their environment, and sort of paint the different surfaces on. Try and get it closer to what they want. And if they want some greenery, then you can use the menus, see what sort of thing they want. Yeah, you can decorate quite a lot. You can change the terrain in the enclosure if you want to. You can mess around with a lot of things. Yeah, we're going to keep it simple. You can make it all pretty. I'll let your point. So we need to get more, as I was saying, food and drink establishments. Try to line it up carefully so you can keep it in the group. That way it'll all be perfectly aligned. If you want to come along later and you want to put a shell around them all, make it look pretty. Doesn't want to seem to let me have that one. Running out of money is not something we want to do. So I managed to research our first part of one of the more common illnesses. The first one on the list. But we can research the animals themselves once we've got them in. As I say, once we've got them in, we can link up all this educational stuff. Specifically educate people about the ostrich in the first bit, and the warthog in the second. Remember to set up different months of focus. With the educational talks, seems to take them about a month. They will get tired and complain. Things are going well, you can level up the staff, make them more efficient and less likely to lose energy. Yeah, I'm trying to give the educator a bit of leeway between the first talk and the second talk. Will definitely help. Yeah, running out of money rapidly. As long as the animals are happy, and we're working towards making them happier. As we research the animals, we can unlock different enrichment items to make them happy. Yeah, we've got to make people so happy that they think that the tickets are underpriced. Then we can start charging more, and or get more people in. Our staff are saying need another staff room for tea breaks. So we're going to try and fit that in next to the water purifier. It's out of the way. Exhibit animals is another thing that we can do. This way to get more animals easily into the zoo and release more into the wild, which will give us the conservation credits. As I say, for the premium animals that we want. I do like the blocky path building. You have to go sort of freestyle at the end. That's much tidier than it could be. So we've got our first report from the inspector. Education not good enough. Yeah, we're just bouncing the research back and forth. Running out of money. Low on cash. So we can preemptively turn it up a little bit. Try and make everything nicer by copying some trees. You get notifications when the vending machines invariably break down. Make sure the mechanic's on it. So yeah, we're getting premium beasties for our exhibition. Premium snake. Yeah, you can get these pairs popped in. So this prefab exhibition. There's two different exhibits back to back. Make sure they're included in the group so the keepers know to feed them and take care of them. You can adjust each one individually. Make sure the conditions are good for your animals. And we have little education boards attached. Again, pick the right thing. Can put the speakers on as well. Just got to make sure that they don't clash with each other. Or this one over here. Yeah, just got to make sure they don't overlap. Should be good. Yeah, as long as you're mindful of negative impact it could have on the guests and their happiness. We haven't given them a toilet yet. Okay, we want to make sure that it's far enough away. We've surrounded our staff stuff and utilities with trees. Try and mitigate the negative impact. Yeah, we need to get our education rating up. As we research our exhibit animals, we can give them more enrichment items for their enclosures. as we learn what they're like. Yeah, not sure why I've been so poor the last few times I played this. It's maybe too ambitious to get the educator and that sort of stuff at the beginning. Maybe the extra staff is what's dragging it down. Yeah, once you send them for a promotion, I think they get a pay rise and they cost you more money. We haven't done that yet. Maybe we need to exploit the customers more. More shops and things. One of the experience rides. Set up a little monorail that'll take you over and above the enclosure. That sort of thing. Generate some extra cash. Yeah, you have to spend money to make money. You can trade out some animals for cash rather than releasing them to the wild for the credits that we would normally do. I'll try and fill up this space. More education. Get another ATM. Make sure they've got every opportunity to get out cash. Throw into the buckets. Research is making the animals happier. With the breeding, the animals make better animals. Better animals give you more credits. Rarer animals, I guess, give you more credits when you're releasing them into the wild. The more endangered ones. Because it's all about conservation. Yeah, you can sell for cash. Which we're horribly low on. Yeah, I think taking loan after loan doesn't help you. Paying off the loans is a bit of a killer. Yeah, if you don't want to go into massive debt with your zoo, yeah, maybe lay off the educator and stuff to begin with. If you're following the same blueprint. Yeah, you can try and entice more people in, which will get you more cash. You can get some animals. You've got cash. If you get more a diverse range of animals, is that better than having high quality animals? I'm not sure, but we do need to sort of justify this massive enclosure. Yeah, make sure the place is looking nice. There's plenty of opportunities for people to relax if they need to. See everything twice. try and get them round the corner. And hit them with these other education boards. But we'll hit a point where we're out of the power bubble. Yeah, at the start I like to run the path right up to the edge of where the bubble would be. And somewhere not too far down the side, run out of power for all the educational stuff. So yeah, we're going to try and get a few more of the same animals. Indeed run out of power. So we're going to get another transformer. Check that we're far enough away from the path. Far enough away that we can take it a little bit closer. Not to get in the way of any future developments on the other side of the path. I just gotta make sure I pick different ones. There's plenty of options for these education boards. Gonna get wildebeest. Yeah, the conditions are all the same. They all like the same sort of terrain. They're all friends with each other. Okay, I'm just got to switch up the research when we get the new animal in. Yeah, you can check in the Zoopedia which ones are friends with each other. We can all go in. There's not many. These guys all like cohabitating, and they get a little bonus. Okay, we'll make sure the education points and everything are in the work zone. Keep all the staff happy. Yeah, you can try and wait to get good ones, or just go for gold. Get as many as you can. Yeah, better animals with better stats. Their offspring can come out with a higher rating. Guess that makes it more appealing for people that come to see. They have more value out in the wild also. Yes, especially if they have the high fertility. So when things are going well, and you've got loads of animals, they'll pop up with warnings for inbreeding or overcrowding, social situation not working out. There's too many young males in an alpha male culture. They're all starting to get antsy and starting to fight and stuff. And the more animals there you have, the more of these interventions you need to make. We're still focusing on trying to get our way up to the two-way glass barriers, so we can do an upgrade for normal cutaway glass. got buffalo that we can put in with the wildebeest. Again, that's not going to be a problem. It's not a conflict. Yeah, you have to remember to send them into quarantine first, make sure they're not sick. Yeah, it gives us another opportunity to get the guests further into the zoo. We know we've got the power over here. It's not going to have a negative impact on the guests when they're walking past. But again, we've got no money. Yeah, the strategy of getting one loan to pay off another is not the greatest. Try to pause the loans and focus on paying one off. Maybe the strategy. Yeah, while things are good, we're just taking the cash and getting as many animals as we can. To try and draw in as many people as we can. And make sure our work sounds good. Lots of food and drink and tat shops, merchandise. Can set up an extra work zone for the workers, the vendors. They need to go for breaks as well. That's when the vending machines get a rush, and then they end up getting broken, and the mechanic needs to go out and sort it out. Yeah, we've got our intervention needing done. Warthog breeding is going so well. We've got a bronze male. Have a look through, make sure we don't have a better male. But maybe we should get rid of the male rather than the female, you know. And yeah, we do want to release them to the wild. The money situation is not great. I want to sell them for cash. But yeah, when looking at the breeding situation, if they're the kind of animal that has an alpha male, like the warthog, you can go through and sort of preen the herd. When the lesser males, before they start fighting. In a situation where they all end up related, sometimes you do want to go in and replace the male. Go have a look in the market. Yeah, once you've got some animals in, every time you go back to look at the animal market, you've got eye on things that you've already got. Do you want to get the giraffes in? Don't quite have enough conservation credits for a pair. Not even for the female, but we can get one. He might be a bit lonely until we get him a friend. Yeah, giraffes the way. And all our hopes on the giraffe, turning everything around. Going to create such interest. People are going to come from far and wide to see it. Our education rating's going up. So our investment in educators going well. Look, our beautiful giraffe. Might be a little bit lonely, but it looks majestic. Yeah, you can sort of follow the animals around, which is great, but you'll soon be missing lots of notifications. As I say, the more animals you've got, the more hectic things start to get. This little one thinks it's stuck, or it's drowning, so it's stressing out. You could spend a while trying to straighten out the pond you've made, make it a little bit shallower or whatever. Yeah, sometimes it's quicker just to pick up the animal that's giving you the notification and pop it back somewhere else in the enclosure. Yeah, if you get too many new animals too quickly, then you're suffering about not being able to research them all. Certainly can't afford to hire an extra person to do the research. Yeah, trying to spread things out evenly. Give the animals a better time. Sometimes that's preening the population, keeping only the best ones. Usually releasing it in the wild and feeling good about it and getting the conservation credits. But in dark financial times, yeah, selling for cash, hopefully to other zoos. They're just as lovely as ours. So again, we're unlocking enrichment items as we're doing research on our animals. The giraffe wants more shelter, so we're going to give it a really big one. It's an actual shelter big enough for a giraffe. I slot this in that it's not getting in the way of the keepers getting into the enclosure. We're not wasting too much space. Yeah, you can set up webcams and things in the enclosure on these solid structures and the trees. Finally unlock two-way glass so we can make them happier. They'll only hear the mob of people rather than see them through the glass, so they can have a happier time in the illusion they're where they're supposed to be. They're all African animals. First section can be African animals only. I've played this game before. I'm taking it pretty far. But the more you have, as I say, the more chaotic it gets. Trying to stretch people too thin over different work zones. You don't know where things are going wrong, but everything starts going wrong. Doesn't scale very well. The number of guests that are supposed to be there, using all the facilities, the amount of guests it can actually load. So when you're trying to fit every single animal in the game, or some challenge like that, it does suffer when you're getting up to a higher level. To keep all the plates spinning. Yeah, an African section for the non-exhibit animals. As we research food and drink, we can get more stalls and more vending machines. Not sure it pulls in extra money. It does make them more satisfied, so they do stay longer, and will hopefully donate more in the long term. Yeah, we can add heaters to the enclosure. Obviously the animals want it to be warmer than this. They don't want snow. So the solid structures in here and the trees that we've added, we can add heaters there. Melt the snow, maintain a decent temperature. See, the animals are starting to love it already. soon get plenty of notifications when things are going wrong. The animals aren't very happy. Yeah, we chose a European zoo setting to start with. That's what happens. So yeah, we've got some heaters now. Keep the animals happy in the places that they go to the most. Yeah, we can add webcams and things, which will hopefully entertain people who are watching online streams of the animals. Make them want to come visit. I swear there was a way to put screens on where you could see what the webcam could see to entertain people at the zoo at the time. Sort of relay the webcam, relay the live feed, you know. But I could not find them for love nor money. Like, I swear I did it once, but like different kind of screens for different kind of things. You can pop down a screen that you want it to be one type of thing from the drop down menu you want it to show, and you've got a completely different kind of screen. So yeah, you can just set them to information about the animals you've got. Yeah, if I could find the right thing, I would have set up the webcams to be relayed out here. We're just going to use it as secondary opportunity for education of the animals that we've got in. Get our giraffe lover. It's good times. Yeah, you've got to remember if you've got sort of uneven pairs of animals. Yeah, if the gender ratio is wrong, you've got to sort of sort it out. Copy the screens and then change what's on them. Make sure we include our ostriches, our warthogs. I'm sure our giraffe's going to be well happy to see another giraffe. All in all, good progress for 10 years. Managed to wrestle with debt. Managed to get ourselves a bunch of animals that are so far happy and healthy. Come back next time, pick up where we left off from. Till then, take it easy. I'll see you in the next one.